Hi, this is Jill from Humu Yoga, and this is the full practice. This week, we're working with the theme of change. I'm going to take us through a quiet centering, and then we'll get to the point where I will recite inspirational quotes on the theme of change. And then I'm going to weave this theme into our full practice today, where we're going to be focusing on hamstrings and low back. So if this is something you really like, please subscribe, because I do a different theme and focus on a different body part every week. So we'll go ahead and get started. Just taking the hands down by your sides, just sit up as tall as you can. You can close your eyes and visualize what's going on. So maybe you want to press down through the fingertips and find a big lifting upward. And then notice the muscles you're sitting on, pelvic floor. Can you just lightly engage those muscles? We call that Mula Bandha. It means root lock. And then above that, below the belly button, pull the belly in and up. You get a feeling of flying upward, or Uddiyana Bandha, and that's what it means, flying upward. And then at the top of the spine, just draw the chin down. We call that Jalandhara Bandha, or chin lock, and it seals in the energy of the bandhas. And now with the bandhas engaged, you're fully supported inside, so you can release the hands and just close the eyes and visualize your breath. You can visualize the rib cage expanding on the inhalation. And then as you exhale, the rib cage relaxes. Inhale, feel the expansion of the diaphragm, taking the ribs with it. And then exhale, the relaxing. And one more big breath in. Inhale, try to make your inhalations and exhalations equal in length. Exhale. We'll take the hands together in prayer position and vibrate together with the mantra Om. And then I will go through the quotes. Inhale. Om. Change is the only constant in life. One's ability to adapt to those changes will determine your success in life. Surrender to what is. Let go of what was. Have faith in what will be. Life is a balance of holding on and letting go. If you're brave enough to say goodbye, life will reward you with a new hello. If nothing changed, there'd be no butterflies. I like that if you can accept change, will create a new curiosity and maybe a whole new way of seeing things. And that's what I've had to do with my yoga practice. There's a lot of poses I no longer do, and I've had some injury, and I've had to work through that, and it's taught me a great deal. So we'll be really mindful in this practice and just kind of explore those areas. Let's go ahead and do some cat-cows. So exhale, really lifting the belly up and pulling in and up, and we're trying to get a stretch across the back. And then inhale, come forward. And now we're opening the heart a bit. So we're trying to get this part to open as we arch the back. But don't be too much in your neck, just enough, right? Exhale, I like to gaze down the nose, right? To keep that energy inward. Exhale. Inhale, come forward. So I'm gazing down the nose, but a little forward too. And one more time to exhale, round the spine. And this time we're going to take it to downward facing dog. So just try and do the best you can here. Notice the hamstrings, right? Are they tight today? You could bend your knees to get your back lengthened. Maybe your back is tight. And then sometimes it's nice to bend and straighten. When you notice when you straighten, did your back round? If that's the case, you might want to bend your knees and just be gentle with yourself right now. As this is your first down dog maybe, and just feel it out and notice what's going on. And then let's slowly make our way up, all the way up. Notice are the hamstrings tight here. And fold. I always like to notice what it's like at the beginning of the practice and how everything gets warmed up. And then let's go ahead and just kind of hang here and notice the hamstrings here. Can you feel the back of your legs? If you need to bend your knees at first, you can. but maybe you can straighten your legs. And then let's just release the hands, soften the knees here, and let's curl up the spine. So support it by pulling the belly way in and up as you curl up. And we'll come all the way up. And then we'll stand in Samasthiti, standing still and straight, or Tadasana, mountain pose. It's both things. And then we're going to start Surya Namaskar A. So inhale, reach the arms up. Big reach. Exhale, pull the belly in as you fold. Maybe you feel the hamstrings here. Belly in and fold. Inhale. I like how each move in the sun salutations takes us somewhere deep. So this plank, we're really working everything for support. Make sure your butt's not out or you're not sinking. I'm coming to my knees because I'm rehabbing a shoulder injury, and this helps me to stay stable. Rise up. So we all might be doing something a little different, but you need to do what serves your body. Inhale here, tail under, lift the sternum, and come to downward facing dog. So it's really nice when this practice can serve your body. Inhale, maybe heal an injury. Exhale, take you deeper into open hamstrings. Exhale, and breathe. Inhale, and exhale. And one more, inhale, and exhale. And then making our way up, pushing down and pushing down. And if your hamstrings are tight, you might have your feet a little wider. And exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, and rise. Reaching, and exhale, hands down. Let's do it again. Inhale, reach, and exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, and let's go ahead and take it back. Plank pose. I'm coming to my knees because I feel like I get more support in my shoulder and I can keep this plank and rise up. But I feel the strengthening in my arms and upward facing dog. And I also feel my injury healing and downward facing dog. And breathe. Inhale and exhale. Noticing what's going on. I also feel a nice stretch in my calves. Breathing, inhale, and exhale. Really reaching, inhale, and exhale. And then inhale here. Let's slowly make our way up to the front. I'm really pushing, trying to get really light here as I come forward. Fold. Inhale, lengthen, and reach. And exhale, hands down. Surya Namaskar B. I'm going to use the blocks here for assistance. They give me a little height. And I really like that because it makes some of the transitions lighter. So bend the knees, reach the arms, and exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. And then let's go ahead. You could either lightly hop back, lift up, back, or just walk back. Find your plank. And lower, and rise, and come through. Lift the sternum, gaze down the nose, but still take the head back, opening the chest and the sternum, and downward facing dog. And now we're going to come into a high lunge. So step your right foot forward. I like to do this because it prepares you for warrior one. Inhale here, we'll take angel arms and bend the back knee, take the tail under. I want you to feel a stretch on the hip flexors on this left side. Do one where you straighten, bend, do two. And then on the third one, we're gonna hold, and one more, and try to straighten, keeping that butt under. Let's take this into a big back bend. Inhale here, exhale, reach the arms. Keep reaching, keep lifting, up, up, up. And then inhale, rising up, reach forward, pull the right butt back, take the hands down. You can really feel the action of the hips there. And then let's go ahead and lower and rise and come through. Make sure you take your butt under, lift the sternum, and take it back downward facing dog. Let's do the left side. Inhale, step the left foot forward. We're gonna rise up into a high lunge. Let's take these angel arms as we bend the back knee, take the tail under, and then straighten, and do it again. Bend the back knee, take the tail under, and straighten. On the next one, we'll hold, bend, then try to straighten as you go into your back bend. Lift up, reach, up to go back, reach, 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 reach. And then inhale, rise, and reach forward, reach. And then take the hands down, stepping back, and lowering, and then rising, and coming through. Inhale, big breath in, and exhale, downward facing dog. And just breathe here. Inhale, notice the hamstrings. If you're using blocks, it's a little bit easier. So you might be able to take a longer downward facing dog. Breathe, inhale, and exhale. Couple more breaths. And then inhale, find a little spot. The blocks make it easier to have a little more height. So you lift up and just put the feet down and fold. Bend the knees, reach the arms, and come back to Tadasana or Samasatihi. And we'll do another one. Bend the knees, reach the arms, and exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, and go ahead and take it back. And let's lower, keeping that tail under. Inhale, rise, and come through. Big breath in, tail is under, and downward facing dog. Now we're gonna come to warrior one. So inhale, step your right foot forward, slightly turn your back foot out, keep that butt under, reach the arms. Inhale, get the most out of your warrior one. Exhale. Inhale, rise up and reach. And let's go ahead and step back. And then lower and rise and come through. Inhale, lift the sternum, keep your tail under, and downward facing dog. We'll go to the other side. Step the left foot forward, take your right foot down, keep your butt under on that right side as you reach the arms up. Bend the front knee, lift up to go back. Breathing, getting the most out of warrior one. And then inhale, reach forward, and we'll go ahead and step back. And let's lower, and rise, and come through. Tail under, and downward facing dog. One of the ways my practices has really changed throughout the years is I used to just go through these sun salutations and not really think too much about them. And I was kind of in a hurry just to get to the advanced asana. But there's so much to these sun salutations. And then let's find a gaze point. They really do so much if you're very conscious with them. And fold. Bend the knees. Reach the arms. And come to stand. Let's take the feet hip width if you're not already hip width, or maybe even a little wider. We're gonna just do some roll downs. So I wanna work on the hamstrings and also the back, right? Stretching the back out a bit. So notice how you stand. Some people have an anteriorly tilting pelvis that goes this way and the butt sticks out. Some people tend to tuck under a bit. So just notice, can you find neutral? And you know that because your pubic bone and belly button are on the same plane. And then from there, we're gonna go ahead and roll down the spine, so it'll be stretching the spine. So just take a breath in and drop your head. And just think of sequencing your spine. It's okay to round your spine. I have to keep my tail under because my tendency would be to stick my butt out. So we're curling and go down. Just the spine is rounded. Just go down as far as you can. And when you're down as far as you can go, just stay there. And if your hands are touching the floor, grab your elbows and let your elbows be like a weight that's pulling you deeper. Notice your hip creases. Can you go deeper back deeper. Let your elbows pull you to the floor, and then straighten your legs. If your butt goes back a little, that's okay. Just try to draw it forward. Do you feel the hamstrings or the back of the legs, right? This is the muscle that extends the hip and bends the knee. So it's all in here. And you want to really feel that opening. And just draw the chin in and breathe. Engage the legs. So if you engage the front of the legs, you'll stretch the back of the legs even more. And then we're going to slowly roll up. If you need to bend your knees, you can. Release the hands. Tail is under. Stacking the spine all the way up. And we'll come to Samasthiti for a moment. And then we'll step out again. This time we're going to hinge. So take your hands right in your hip sockets. They're not on the side, they're a little in the front. You can feel where that is. And start to now extend the spine. So now we're not rounding. I want you to really come forward and feel that. Take your hands on your shins and extend the spine. And really see if you can get length in the hamstrings. And now focus on the hip crease. Maybe you can't go forward anymore and you just take your head down. But just go to where your body can. Grab the back of your legs, the calves, and see if you can roll your shoulders away from your ears and pull your body down. And at some point, the upper back's going to round. You take the head closer maybe. Draw the chin in that Jalandhara Bandha feeling. Breathe. Breathe. Just notice what's going on in your legs. Now inhale, lengthen. Let's reach the arms and rising all the way up. And exhale. We're going to go ahead and get started in some standing poses. So I'm going to use the blocks today. I always practice with a set of blocks and a little towel. It just comes in handy, but it's not necessary. Okay, so we'll go ahead and step out. So let's find warrior two. Turn the left foot in and the right foot out. And from here, let's just go ahead and bend the front knee without leaning forward. Just change your gaze now and breathe here. Notice there's external rotation going on in that front leg. There's some internal rotation here, but also a balance of external rotation as you breathe. Coming into Parsvakonasana, you can circle. Maybe you keep your hand here. Maybe you want to be here, or maybe you're using a block or the floor. Breathe, inhale, and exhale. Now I'm turning my right ribs up towards the ceiling. I'm taking my gaze up towards my arm. And then we're going to come into Trikonasana. You might have to adjust and move your block. It's a nice long Trikonasana. I like this because I feel some hamstrings in this leg, right? And I also feel a nice side body stretch as you reach up. Now I'm turning the right ribs up and I'm gazing to the hand, but it's okay to gaze straight ahead or whatever feels good in your body. Rising. Let's go to the other side. So starting in warrior two, back hip turns in, front hip turns out, but there's a balance. Reach and then gaze. Try to make as best you can a right angle here as you breathe, and you're not leaning forward if you can avoid that. Breathe. Parsvakonasana, circle. You could stay here, you could be here, or maybe to the floor. And turn the left ribs and reach. And breathe. Inhale. And then reach up to the ceiling. Straighten your front legs. We're engaging. You're going to feel those hamstrings stretch. They're really engaging the front of the leg to stretch the back. And breathe. Open. Breathing. And then inhale, rising up. And then let's take the feet for Prasarita Padangusthasana, spread out pose. This is a good one for the hamstrings too. So inhale here, hinging at your hips, coming forward. Take your hands in front of you for a moment and just try to stick the butt out for a minute. And notice, can you really do that? Get a nice stretch in the hamstring. You always feel the back of the legs. Then we'll come forward. See if you can grab your big toe with your first two fingers. And we're going to use the back muscles to pull down. If you needed to, you could always put your head on a block, right? Breathe. And I really want you to pull your shoulders away from your ears here. See if you can find that. One more breath, shoulders away from the ears, using the back muscles. Inhale, lengthen. Let's take the hands on the waist and rise up. Now we're gonna turn. I'm bringing my feet in a little bit. We'll turn to the right for Parsvottanasana variation, but I want your hips to face this direction, both hips. So this is gonna be a big stretch on the right hamstrings, mostly on the outer. You might feel this. So let's take the hands, you will feel it. Let's take the hands behind the head and just lift up for a moment. Now we're gonna come forward. You notice your balance might be challenged. That's okay, that's normal. But try to pull the right butt back as best you can. Keep reaching forward. So you don't wanna be tilting, right? You wanna lengthen your spine. And then from here, let's go ahead and fold in and take the hands down and try to draw closer. Now, I welcome you to use a block, whatever level you need, and breathe here. Inhale. You want to really be feeling the back of the legs, the hamstrings. Some of you might be down here. And then inhale, lengthen. Let's see if you can get the hands behind the head again, and rise up. And then from here, we're gonna come into Konasana, which starts the same, but then we add a twist. So inhale, we'll start by lifting the left arm up and reach forward for a moment. Here we are in our forward bend, right? Keep pulling the right butt back. I'm gonna take this block to the outside of my front ankle. Now comes the twist. Turning, 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 breathing. Lengthen the crown of the head away from the tailbone as best you can. And then inhale, rise up. You feel those legs, the hamstrings a lot. And pivoting. And we'll come in to Parsvottanasana first. Inhale. Coming forward. Extend the spine. Get your spine really long. Make sure you're not rounded. Lengthen even if you have to be up here. And keep pulling the left butt back. And then at some point you might want to take your block, reach forward and drop your head down. Maybe you're here. Breathing, keep that connection. One more breath. Inhale, lengthen, hands behind the head. Keep pulling the left butt back and rise up. And now Konasana. Reach your right arm up, really pull this left butt back. We're gonna take the block to the outside of your ankle, or you could be here and start to come across. Keep pulling that left butt back, turning the right ribs, breathing, breathing. One more breath. Inhale, use those legs and rise up, and we'll step up, Samasatihi. And now we're gonna come into some standing balance, or Utthita, Hasta, Padangusthasana variations. So I'm gonna use the wall here, and I welcome you to do that because sometimes it'll help you get deeper in a pose. Okay, so let's let the right leg come up. You can bend the knee. Start off by you're gonna use the left hand, put it to the inside of that right leg, or right foot, and then extend the leg. Just notice, can you feel the hamstrings here? Maybe you can fold in, rise up, bend the knee again. This time hold on to the outside of the foot and see if you can extend the leg. Now we're gonna come into the twist. So you're turning your ribs to the right. And you can use this hand or you could reach it. Breathe. And then start to come back. You can use the wall. Leave your leg out there for a moment. What does that feel like? And slowly release. Let's do the other side. So step by step, just take your time with it. So use the wall if you need to, or use the wall because it'll take you deeper. Let your left leg come up. Hold on first to the inside and then extend the leg. Inhale here, gazing down the nose. You might want to come in and fold and rise, or you just stay here. Bend the knee, hold on to the outside of the foot and extend. Try to drop that left hip. Maybe you're turning, you just have your hand here. Breathe. Maybe you want to take your gaze. Maybe you stay here the whole time. Bring it back, keep the leg out there, and slowly lower. I hope that went well. It's fun to just play with these things and use the wall if you need to. It's your friend. Now let's come into a nice vinyasa. So inhale, reach the arms. We're gonna make our way down to the floor. Exhale. You could use your blocks here if you wanted to. We're gonna go to downward facing dog. Notice the hamstrings now. Are they a little bit more open? I'm sure they are. And then we're gonna make our way up to the front. So you can maybe lightly hop up. And then I'm playing around with this Lolasana. And it helps to have blocks. You can lift up and come down. And we'll meet right here at the front for Dandasana. So in Dandasana, you wanna make sure you have your spine engaged, your low back. So if your tendency is to round the spine, because the hamstrings are tight, bend your knees and sit up real tall. And this towel or yoga belt will come in handy if the hamstrings are tight. You can bend the knees and then keep the back lengthened and try to straighten your legs. And we'll do that a few times. So maybe you don't need to use the towel and you're bending, and then you can straighten and go a little deeper here. So do the variation that works. We'll do one more, bend the knees, get the spine really lengthened. Some of you might be here. And straighten. And then relax your head wherever you are. Breathe. The upper back will probably round, but the low back is really reaching. Breathe. Hamstrings, you really engage the front of the legs. Breathe. Try and straighten those legs. Inhale, lengthen. And let's rise. Let's go ahead and bend the right knee. And we're going to do a variation of a Danasana. Pull, it's bow and arrow. You're pulling your bow back. Pull that knee back. You're flexing the hip. It's okay if the spine is rounded here a little bit. Pull. Now let's go ahead and bring it across and cradle a little bit. Cradle. It's your baby. We're just opening the hips, the outer hips now. And now we're going to try and really sit up. So we'll bend the left knee and use your hands here and try to encourage that right knee to open, and you'll feel a stretch in that outer hip. Sit up tall. Sit up really tall. And one more breath here. Let's go ahead and take this into Janu Sirsasana. So the left foot comes in. We'll start with a twist to the right, turn to the right and lift up, turn, turn, turn. I'm turning from the ribs and then my head turns last. And then inhale, come to the center, and we'll now go over that left leg. So same thing here. If the hamstrings are tight, you could bend the knee, lengthen the low back, and then straighten and drop down. Or you could use your hands. Maybe you could grab your wrist and pull. But whatever one you're doing, I want you to really get a sense you're pulling that right side and the shoulders are down. And then relax the head down. Maybe you're feeling the hamstrings. It's also a nice hip opening. It's also a nice stretch in the lats, the QLs. Lots of good stuff going on. Let's do the left side. So bend the left knee, Danasana. Pull the knee back. It's okay if your spine is rounded here. You don't have to be sitting up for this one. Pull the belly in, because we're playing around with just opening this hip. So take this left leg across and cradle it like your baby. And notice what's going on. You can just rock it a little bit, sit up, rock back a little bit. And now I want you to sit up. So we'll bend the right knee, take the ankle over the knee, use the hands so that you can get your low back really engaged as you try to open that knee as best you can out to the side. Sitting up and breathing. And then from here, we're going to take it to Janu Sirsasana, the knee out to the side. Let's take a twist to the left, lift up and turn. So I'm really turning from the ribs, the right ribs. I lift up. On an exhalation, those ribs bring me around. Breathing. And then inhale, come back to the center. Again, if you were using your prop, you could bend the knee and extend from the low back, and then just try to really get as long as you can, and then release the head down. Or some of you might be able to grab your foot and do the same thing. Some people might be able to grab their wrist, but I want you to feel whatever one you're doing, pull from that left side so you really feel all of this and the hamstrings in the right leg, and then surrender wherever you are and breathe. Inhale and exhale. And then inhale, lengthen and rise up. Let's come back to Dandasana. And now we're going to make our way over to our knees. So to get there, I'm just going to cross, come forward, and arrive on my knees. And I'm going to take you through Anjaneyasana. Anjaneya is the mother of Hanumanasana, the monkey god. So we're going to do both of those. I'm going to use this little towel, you could use a blanket, for my knee on my left side. Just make sure your weight, if you don't have it, or even if you do, is not directly on your kneecap, maybe a little forward. And then I'm going to step the right leg forward in a straight position. So now we're going to really feel the hamstring stretch. We're going to really try to pull the right butt back as you come forward. You may not even need to use the blocks. You may be able to put your hands down, but maybe they're helpful. And then just surrender down. When you come forward like this, you should really feel the hamstrings. Breathe. Inhale. And if you flex your foot back, you're going to get some of the calf too. It's really nice. And then inhale. Let's rise up. And now from here, we'll go ahead and bend the front knee, and we'll come into, maybe you need to adjust here, that's fine. We'll come into more of a lunge here. But I want you to really work on taking this butt under so you feel the stretch in the hip flexors here. Really strong. And now we're going to add the arms to make it Anjaneyasana. So come out for a moment, angel arms to start, and then we'll come in. And as you're coming in, tuck this butt under and pull your right butt back. Breathing. Breathing, and then take it somewhere beautiful. Reaching, 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 and rise. And now, Hanumanasana, the moment you've all been waiting for. I'm going to come off of my towel, or you could keep it if you had a blanket or a towel and use another one, but I want to use this as a slider for my Hanumanasana. And I'm not going to have very much weight on my back knee anyway, because I want you to stay lifted throughout. So I want you to really focus on pulling the right butt back. And see, I'm really trying not to put a lot of weight on my left knee. And see if you can keep your hips really square. See, I'm not turning out. And then you can point the back toe, and let's slide forward and then pull in. And do that again. Slide forward a little bit and then pull in. On the next one, we're going to try and take it down and hold. So I'm really working on keeping this butt under and this butt back. If you needed to, you could use something higher for support. If you couldn't get down low, you could stay up here and just work here. Or maybe you're finding that you're able to go lower as you stay here and you're pulling your right butt back and your left butt under. But just take it to where you can. And we're just trying to stay neutral as best we can. So not leaning back, not leaning forward with the upper body, and just letting it happen. Breathing, 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 breathing. And then inhale and rise up. Let's do all of that on the other side. So to set up, I was using the towel here. And on this side now, I'm going to put my right knee on it and put my left foot forward. And then as we hinge forward, I want you to really pull that left butt back. Maybe you don't need the blocks, or maybe you put them on a lower level, and you really try to engage the front of the leg to stretch the hamstrings and pull the toes back so you get the calves. And breathe, breathe. And then inhale, lengthen, and we'll rise up. And now we'll bend the front knee and we'll come into the lunge. So I want you to start to bend, tuck your butt under on that right side. So you're really feeling a nice stretch in the hip flexors, the top of the hip here. Tuck that butt under and then pull this butt back, this butt under, lift the sternum, and then we'll come out and we'll come into Anjaneyasana. So angel arms, bend, right butt under, left butt back. Take it somewhere beautiful. Inhale, exhale. Breathing, inhale, exhale. And inhale, rise up. I love that pose. It's so expressive. I'm going to take this towel out and use it now as a slider for the front leg. But it's a pose I never even used to do. And there's so much, it's so rich. Okay, so we'll take the front leg on, the left leg on the slider, and try to, this is hard. This is my harder side, by the way. I'm not going to go down as far. But really try to keep the right butt under, but you never know. And pull the left butt back and start to slide forward and then slide back. We'll just do a couple to warm up. Slide forward, slide back. Make sure you're not directly on the knee, you're a little in front. And now sliding, and try to keep that focus of the right butt under, left butt back. You could be using like a chair here, or you could, you know, a table or something, or the wall, something for support if it was too hard to go lower. And breathe, breathe, keep breathing, keep noticing what's going on. Hip flexors, hamstrings, hip flexors in the back leg, hamstrings in the front leg. Breathing, breathing. This is about as far as this leg will go. And rise up. But it felt great. And we're going to make our way, after all that, down to seated. So we can go ahead and just make our way to seated. Let's come into Upavistha Konasana. So it's just the straddle pose. I like this pose because it helps the hamstrings, but mostly the inner thighs, and it really helps open the hips. So sit way up. If you notice that your spine is curled back, just do the best you can to straighten it. You could even bend the knees and try to open them and sit up tall. And you could do that a few times. Just notice where you are. And if everything's going well here and you want to try, we can come forward, but extend. Make sure your spine doesn't round. Come forward and rise up. And we'll do that again. And come forward, keep extending the spine, and rise up. And one more time. And come forward. Maybe you want to grab your feet if you can, if that's accessible. And keep extending that low spine. Keep extending it, breathing, inhale, keep extending, keep breathing, and inhale, rise up. And it's okay if you were here the whole time, you're still benefiting. And let's take the legs together. We're gonna make our way down to the floor now. So come into Dandasana. I'm gonna use these blocks. We're gonna lie over them if you have them. You put one here. So it's going to be under your shoulder blades, and the other one is for your head. You might have to adjust as we go along. Sit way up, and now I actually want you to round your spine. So pull the belly in, it's supported, stretching the back body. You could use your hands here or whatever you needed to guide. Make sure that outer edge of the block is on the outer edge of the shoulder blade. So in other words, it's right behind where the sternum is. You get that nice lift. And let's bend the knees. Reach the arms and take the tail back. Feel this nice back bend, this arch in the upper body as you reach, reach, reach. You can close your eyes and just notice what it feels like here. It's a nice supported back bend. And then we'll come out of it. You could stay longer and pause the video always. Let's curl to come up, pull the belly in, curl, and sit up. Now I'm going to take the blocks back out. And let's do a roll back. So inhale, exhale, curl back. And now we'll come into some bridging. So bend the knees and take a breath in and exhale. Lift your pelvis up. Take an arm variation that works in your body. You want the shoulders down, but not squished together so much. There still should be a little bit of width. So maybe for you, interlacing feels nice. Do whatever feels good in your body. And then let's go ahead and pull the right knee into the chest and straight up. And then go down. And you're reaching through that right leg. Push up and come down and reach. So you have to really use the butt and the hamstrings on that left side. One more time. And reach and hold, hold, and then slowly coming down. See if we can do the other side. Pull in, reach up, come down, and lift up. Or feel those hamstrings work. Then go down and lift up. And one more. And lift up. And slowly, let's go ahead and release the arms. You can reach the arms over the head and start to curl the spine down. All the way down. And the hands come down. And then from here, let's take the feet wide and arms out to the side and let your knees fall over to the left. And breathe. I feel a nice stretch in this right side. Inhale here, letting the legs come up. Let the right knee fall, let the left knee fall. Breathing. And we'll come back again. Left knee, right knee. And we'll go to the other side. And bringing everything back. And now we're going to come into a supported inversion. So if you'd like, you could take the block. You could put your legs up at a wall too, or you don't have to use a prop. Let the legs come up and try and straighten them as best you can. Notice the hamstrings. Is your butt sticking out, ribs out? Are you too far this way? By nature, this is great for opening the hamstrings and something that's accessible to everyone, because even if the wall was hard, you could come a little bit away from the wall. So if everything's good and you like plow pose and it's not contraindicated in your practice, you could come into that, and that's great for the spine. It's great hamstrings too. You want to try and get your hips high, but it's good to stay on the block if you have osteoporosis and you don't want weight on your neck. But speaking of the neck, make sure your neck is lengthened. And if you wanted to, you could take this all the way up into shoulder stand. And you're welcome to pause the video and do variations here. Some people like to raise and lower single legs, things like that. You might feel hamstrings in different ways. It's kind of nice. I'm going to go ahead though and take us out. Some other variations, people walk to sides, just letting you know. There's all kinds of things you can do here. Bending the knees, that feels nice. And then we'll meet on the block again. And we'll take the legs down. Let's lift the hips up and shift them to the left. Take the arms out to the side, take the knees up and over to the right. And then we're gonna roll this left shoulder open and breathe. Inhale. I'm turning my right ribs to the left, breathing. My head came last. Inhale, exhale. Let the legs come back. Lift the hips up, shift them to the right, knees up, legs over. Really open that right shoulder, breathing. I'm turning the left ribs to the right, breathing. Inhale, bringing everything back. Let's do a nice happy baby. So maybe you can grab your feet, maybe your legs, rock around a little bit. No tension, and just let your body go. Savasana, and just be in this moment of openness and accepting change, and let go, and stay in that. And you can stay here and pause the video as long as you'd like. But I'm going to go ahead and take us out. So just become aware of your breath. And then start to slowly move the fingers and the toes without changing the energy. And then we'll start to bend the knees and make our way over to the side in a fetal position and just pause there. And then slowly coming up to seated. I always love this moment where we come back to where we started and maybe notice the effects of the practice on the body and the mind today. The curiosity, the openings. And take this journey of change and openness and exude it in everything you do. Namaste.